Hi, my name is Jeff O'Neill. I'm doing an updated video. It is now June 27th, 2017. My last video was done back in January 2017. And in January 2017 to now, there has been a lot of changes that have happened. I have continued on the Golden Sunrise pharmaceutical products, and from January to the end of February, I did my 18th, 19th, 20th rounds of chemo, and I had done 1,000 hours of chemo total at the end of February. And I learned through CAT scans and also through my tumor markers that things did not seem to be working anymore. The chemo did not seem to be making any difference. And what was happening from November to the first week of March, my tumor markers kept going up, and we believed that the chemo had built up in my system, and the doctor wanted to continue on chemo because it had been working, and that was kind of the plan. I wanted to look at some other options. I was taking and praying about what the options should be for my life, and I really felt led to Golden Sunrise Pharmaceuticals from the beginning. And after praying about it, I decided that I was going to go off of the chemo and only do Golden Sunrise Pharmaceutical products. The second or third week of March, I made that decision, and in the first week of April, I started doing KemoHerb through Golden Sunrise Pharmaceuticals. At the time, just so you kind of understand, when I was doing the chemo every month through the hospital, my platelets were rolling between 50 and 75,000. My white count was between 2.4 and 3.8 most of the time, which are both not very good if you know much about the immune system and everything else. When I started doing KemoHerb, I really didn't know what to expect, but I was excited to try do something different that's all natural. And the very first round of KemoHerb I did, I asked what to expect, and they said, well, you know, your stomach will feel gases and some things will happen, and we're trying to strip the edges off the tumors and expose them so the body's own immune system can attack. And that's kind of what's going to happen, but you'll kind of see as we go along. And the first round of KemoHerb I took the first bottle of product, I drank it, and I sat there and waited for about 15 minutes, and they said, do you feel anything? And I said, what do you mean? They said, well, it should be hitting your central nervous system. And I said, how will I know? And they said, you just tell us what you see. And I didn't know what they meant by that. And as I sat there about 15 minutes, I was looking at one of the medical professionals from Golden Sunrise Pharmaceuticals, and his hat started to look like it was neon colored to me, like it was glowing. And I said, all right, this is weird. I said, your hat is starting to glow, and his shirt was starting to glow to me. And he goes, okay, that's what we're looking for. And I was like, okay, I'm not sure what this means. It lasted a few minutes, and then it stopped. About 15-20 minutes later, about 30 minutes after I took the product, my stomach started to feel gassy and started kind of puffing up. And it kept puffing up, and I was like, all right, this is interesting. And what happened was, as the gas started puffing up, the tumors in my liver really started to ache, like they did about a year ago. And they said that's common. They said it's aggravating the tumor and attacking the tumor. And I said, okay, because this was not something that I felt during regular chemo. Regular chemo, you just made me feel blah, but this was like it had a purpose and it was doing something. And what happened was, as my stomach filled with gas, right here on my liver, I had this knot that stuck up, not through the skin, but under the skin, but stuck up. And my wife noticed it, and she was like, what is that? I said, I don't know. And I felt it, and it was hard as a rock. And the medical professional said, that is the tumor pushing to the surface because of the gas that built up in your stomach. And we took another product, put it on my stomach, pretty big circle. But what happened was, where that tumor was, only in that spot, it got so hot, like fire, where it penetrated through the skin and hit the tumor, that my wife had to fan me because it was burning so bad. About an hour after the first product, I took my second product, and within about 10 minutes, I started having bowel movements and it started flushing my system. And they said what it's going to do is it's going to detox your body, and at the same time as it's pulling everything out, they're hoping that it grabs tumors that are exposed and strips tumors and starts pulling it out into the toilet. About the third bowel movement I had, I noticed in the toilet there was like this white mucousy substance, and I called Golden Sign Pharmaceutical staff and I said, hey, this is what's going on. And they said, that sounds like the the mucus sac that the tumor's in. I said, I kind of explained what it looked like. I said, yeah. And I said, okay. About 15 minutes later, another bowel movement happened. This time though, it was like this brownish red, like a spider web looking substance in the toilet. And I called them and I said, all right. I said, what is this? And they said, it sounds like the outside of the tumor shell. This was very encouraging to me because exactly what they told me the product should do, it seemed like everything was doing that exactly. I went to that round. I lost about 6 pounds in about 4 or 5 hours, a lot of water weight. By the next day, I was able to put the weight back on through hydration and everything else. But the crazy part was, after doing 20 rounds of chemo, 1,000 hours, a lot of the effects of the KemoHerb compared to traditional chemo were very similar. What I mean by that is, during regular chemo, I would get dehydrated. Obviously, I got dehydrated during this. I started getting pains in the back of my neck, just like regular chemo from being dehydrated. I started getting pains through my leg. My leg started feeling heavy, and I started getting pains in the joints of my hips, just like doing regular chemo. It was very odd to me because I did not know what to expect, but a lot of the side effects were very similar to traditional chemo. The main difference was though, when the next day came and I rehydrated and I ate some food, my body rebounded and I felt re-energized and I started feeling better instantly. With traditional chemo, when you finish chemo, you have a couple days where you just didn't feel that great. Luckily for me, I took Golden Sign Pharmaceutical products, Immune Stim and Activate, so it knocked out the side effects of the chemo about 95% when I did traditional chemo. But with this situation, my body recovered quickly, I felt better, and everything, I was able just to keep moving forward. I have done 8 rounds of KemoHerb now, and after about the 4th round, when I started the 5th round, I noticed something different in my body, and I told Golden Sign Pharmaceuticals medical staff, I said something is happening. I said I can feel my body getting stronger. You see, when I was doing chemo and I was sick and the cancer was taking over, the muscles in my arms had really atrophied, my skin was sagging, but just picking something up and being physically strong to pick it up, it was difficult, even for something that's 15-20 pounds. And if I could do it physically, it would wipe me out physically, to where after that I was just done for the day. After round 5, I did round 5 and my body responded quickly. I started getting stronger. After round 6, my body continued to get stronger, and I noticed that for the past 3 weeks, which is round 6, 7, and 8, my body really feels like it did when I was about 35 years old, which is crazy to say because I turned 44 about 3 months ago. But my body feels stronger now. I feel more healthy. I have completely changed my diet in the last 6 months. I've lost 37 pounds since January. I feel strong. I'm getting healthy. I'm playing basketball 3 days a week. I'm actually playing basketball today at the gym this morning. I'm getting more active, which I had not been about the last 3 years prior to diagnosis because I just did not feel well, but I didn't know what was going on. Now here's the crazy part. My platelets, when I stopped doing chemo, my platelets had been around 74,000, 72,000. They never really got much higher than that. Over the last 4 months since I stopped chemo, my platelets have never really responded to come up much. 3 weeks ago they were at 74,000. My white count, which had gotten down to 2.4 during the last chemo round I did, when I stopped, it started coming back to 3.5, 5.2, 6.0. but it never really shot up to the area we wanted. And Golden Centers Pharmaceuticals told me, they said, as you continue to do KemoHerb, what's going to happen is, as your cancer cells get weaker, your body's going to start feeling stronger, and you will feel it. They said, but what also will happen is your platelets will start going up, and your white count will go up too. And they said what that means is your immune system is taking over the cancer and basically being in control compared to the cancer being in control, because I still have cancer everywhere. And I said, okay. So over the last few months, that's never really happened, and it's been frustrating to me. But over the past 3 weeks, I've noticed my body getting stronger, and I feel like my energy level is just skyrocketing. I can do things all day. Last week I was in Colorado for a week visiting friends. I went non-stop for 7 days, all day long, never had an issue, never got tired, never had to take a day to rest and just kind of recuperate. I was doing everything that everybody else was doing. Plus I was doing other stuff. I got on a ropes course last week, and I really wanted to test my strength, because 3 months ago I would not be able to do a ropes course. And I got on a ropes course where I had my feet on the rope and the ropes were hanging down, and I was holding on to them, balancing my whole body weight, and I had to shimmy down about 15 feet of rope, suspended, 30 feet in the air. But I really wanted to test my own body strength, and I did it with no issue. It really made me happy because I felt very close to normal. The best part though is this. I was able to go to Denver Broncos Stadium. I was able to tour the stadium. I'm a huge Denver Broncos fan, and I really thought I would never be physically able to actually travel to Colorado again. I went on the field, did a tour with my family. It was a great experience. And when I came back home, I told Golden Centers Pharmaceuticals, I said, my body responded so well. I felt energy. I'm feeling great. I'm very active. I'm doing things physically. My body is not wearing out like it did before. I went to a place called Top Golf, and I was hitting golf balls, which is crazy because before, if I tried to hit a golf club or a golf ball, when I was swinging the club, it would shoot pain through my liver as my body rotated. I had zero pain, and I was enjoying myself being active. We did exploring Garden of the Gods is a big rock formation area in Colorado. We just went every day doing something outdoors, something physical and activities, and my body was withstanding everything. Yesterday I went to Cedar Sinai to do blood work, and the way I've been feeling for the last 3 weeks, I expected some good results from my blood work. My white blood count had been at 7.2, which was high, which was good for me 3 weeks ago. As of yesterday, my white blood count went to 8.1. That means my immune system is really doing well. But my stem cells is attached to my platelets, and I really want to see the platelets would go up. My platelets were at 75,000 3 weeks ago. My platelets went to 104,000. And 104,000 is the highest my platelets have been since April 2016 when I had my first round of chemo. 8.1 white blood count is the highest my white blood count has been since my very first round of chemo back in April 2016. So as I stopped traditional chemo, which you usually don't do that when you're stage 4 metastatic colon cancer and you're terminal, because when you still have all this disease in you, if you stop and take a break, usually tumors continue to grow, it continues to spread, and you have problems. I have not been doing traditional chemo for 4 months. My oncologist yesterday lays me back, he checks my liver, he checks my lymph nodes in my neck, he checks my lymph nodes around my liver. He said these are typical places where there's issues, people with my diagnosis. He said, you look great. And the first thing he told me when I walked in, he goes, you look really good, how do you feel? I said, I feel awesome. The KemoHerb for me is a godsend, because as I take each round, I'm taking a round tonight, and I'm excited to take it because I know each round my body's getting stronger. And as I take each round of KemoHerb, I feel more like I did years ago. I have more energy. I'm able to do more stuff, which is really crazy to think when you consider that I'm stage 4 colon cancer, metastatic, both lungs, liver, lymph nodes, inside the colon, outside the colon, everything else. But I believe there's two things happening here. I believe God has a special purpose for my life, and I believe He led me to Golden Centers Pharmaceuticals. And I also believe their products are going to change this world, because if they can do this for me, they can do this for anybody. And I'm just very thankful for the opportunity to use their products and watch my body change, because it is nothing short of a miracle what is happening right now. So thank you.